We saw the whole thing on the monitor.
But we're just as confused as you are.
Well, upon further reflection, it is not so strange. Dreams are developed outside of our conscious will. When you sink into Somnium, there is no guarantee of what you will discover.
What about the figure?
Could have been Iris herself.
That is a possibility. The sinker sees the subject's dream from the third person.
That means that Iris... she must have met So Sejima somewhere.
We did see Congressman Sejima in there.
We saw that shadow kiss him, too.
Did that happen in reality?
Not necessarily. I'm sure you've had dreams of kissing celebrities and porn stars, right?
The first part, yes, but the second part, no.
You sure about that? Anyway, you know what I mean.
A dream is not made up entirely of memories. It can include things outside of your memory, like TV or movies.
Even if the figure was supposed to be Iris, her smooch in Somnium does not necessarily reflect her actions in reality.
You can't use the word smooch.
Why not?
So we don't know if Iris and So are acquainted.
That's right, because So is a celebrity of sorts. It's possible she just saw him on TV or online.
Hey, what's up? I'm just trying to close out all the flowchart stuff. If you don't know, this game is kind of annoying to me. I thought I was going to play something like Disco Elysium, turned out to be something totally different. Something very weirdy, which is good in a way, but its detective work is not that good. I kind of discovered a lot of things way before I even got to the halfway point of the game. But I'm just simply playing along because as exposition goes, you have to follow along with what the game wants you to follow along until it catches up to you, who is the actual detective. So the detective in the game is kind of a poor version of Sherlock Holmes, and you're more smarter than he is. But he's not there to actually be the detective. He's more like there to be the exposition dump. It's up to you to figure it out. So he's not really a detective. Anything he's trying to figure out is kind of silly. It's like Nancy Drew version of trying to do something that's more complicated. Yeah. So I had to unlock certain branching paths. This one had to be unlocked. It's classified. I can't move forward because apparently branching paths means different endings. And this is, I guess, a different ending. And this is also a different ending, which I just reopened and is ongoing. And this was a different ending. And everything that marks as classified will not allow you to move forward until you finish a specific branching path. But here's the thing. I already got to a part in the game where the main girl was killed ASAP. And she was killed, and then the credits roll. The game was over. And I was like, what the hell? But then it went back into a flowchart and says, well, there are different branching paths. So it's not like the game was over and you failed. It's like you never succeeded to begin with, because each ending is not the true ending. They're just little snippets aligned towards what the true ending is. So the game is forcing you to follow by its rules to find the true ending. Even if you kind of figure out what the true ending is, you have no choice but to follow the game's rules and get towards the end by pressing this branching path. So if you have your usual suspects, and you've done process of elimination, you round off to like 2 people, you have to wait until the game catches up to what you're trying to do. And that's my problem with the game right now. I have to wait till it's caught up to what I figured out. That's why I say it's not that good of a detective version of a game. So if you don't know, if it's like your first time here, appendix represents things that I've already accomplished. Who is IBIS? That's the organization the detective work for. BL is basically like, there are certain acronyms in the game that Japanese people use and normal people know about anyway. BL means boys love and stuff. Everyone knows that. Evolver is simply the weapon he used. The AE organization is just a symbolization of the Kamakura syndicate. And now it's just the use of the social networking service that allow you to exchange and instantly message via smartphone. It's kind of like Twitter or something, or not even Twitter. It's kind of like Apple or something like that. And Sync Machine is basically the machine you go into the mind of other criminals and stuff, and divulge certain information. And the world of the mind is called the Somnium world. Somnium simply means if you're on a computer, you type up stuff on a computer. That computer is going to be, its memory is going to be locked inside boxes. And those boxes are off the CPU are simply memory logs or save logs. So that's basically what Somnium is. Save information that you actually physically do, or the mind actually remembers and does. And then dork is like the game have like useless things like who cares what dork is, like it's not relevant to the game. Sometimes the game has irrelevant stuff and relevant stuff, and then this is basically an island that has really nothing to do with the game, somewhat. And this is also has something to do with the game because the game keep going on about different gods, Japanese gods, Indian gods, Egyptian gods, Greek mythology, so on. Most things that have to do with eyes and iris. And then the mother, how Iris and Isis are linked together, has to do with Egyptian theory, and something about Seth and then Osiris. So it throws you off in many different corners and goes back and forth, trying to make sure to blight your path. I mean, I hate using that word, to interrupt what you're trying to do by putting these roadblocks there. But it's kind of stupid because if you have your suspects, you always hold on to your suspect and don't allow the game to do whatever he's trying to do. It's kind of foolish in that sense. I don't think this guy is relevant. And of course, endorphins and are basically like releasing the brain, release pain, calms the nerves, create a feeling of euphoria, totally unrelated to dolphins, which is actually dolphins actually increase your stimulus towards joy and zeal, and makes you feel happy or kind of like on crack or something. Yeah, so I guess you could say it's like when they use the word euphoria for that television show, Euphoria is a kind of a example of the brain, how things with the euphoria calming the nerves, they create a feeling of relieving pain, like how one relieves pain in real life based on circumstances that they're surrounded with. Is it actually euphoria? How the brain works and stuff, how the brain functions and how the brain deals with severe stress. It's all about calming oneself and aligning themselves within society. I guess you could say that's what that television show is trying to talk about when it used that word euphoria. But yeah, I never watched that show because I kind of know what's all about. I don't need to watch a heady show to show things about the brain, but expressed in real life events. And then there's this Show No Mercy, not relevant, Savior. Yeah, and then this dude is called Ota. He's aligned with one of the main suspects, who is the murderer and everything. But the actual murderer is not really the murderer. It's just the game's trying to fool you to say he's associated with the murderer. Like all these things that are in the game are simply there to be like living contradictions, or to be actually pathways to block your what you're trying to do. Blood-brain barrier. Okay, so this is blood-brain barrier is like it's something that's introduced in this game. Probably doesn't really exist, but it kind of does. It's just that it does exist, but not in the way the game is saying. So the blood-brain barrier is basically things to block off certain type of infestations going towards the brain to stop them from getting inside the brain. Basically, like the brain creates this huge electrical field around itself with the nerve ends and everything, and it's surrounding the brain, and it's so dense and stuff that anything that's extremely microscopic that might try to infect the brain kind of gets tasered or zapped. And it's like a barrier that's surrounding the brain, inside the brain. I mean, yes, there are a lot of fluids in the brain and stuff, but it's an internal barrier that's inside of the water and everything that's in the brain. So the brain is surrounded by fluids and stuff at the same time, but at the same time, in that water, you have like a electrical current and everything that's inside the water, creating like a proximity pulse. And that pulse is creating like a barrier around the brain and stuff, so that any type of infection that tries to get inside the brain itself to disrupt activities towards the brain gets zapped. It says prevent harmful substance from going into the bloodstream that reaches the brain cells. So this only works when it comes to extremely microscopic things. Some vitamins, amino acids, and glucose can pass through. Though the exact mechanism for this is unknown. Well, of course, the people who made this game don't know how vitamins, amino acids, and glucose can get into the brain, because they never did the research with regards to that. And I haven't done the research with regards to that because that's not really relevant for what I'm supposed to know. I basically chalk it up to simply stuff going in the bloodstream, and whatever is ridiculously harmful gets blocked off. But how and what way, I don't know either, because I'm not a doctor. Judge, jury, and executioner. I'm just gonna go past all this because these are things that I played in the game that were. We already know about standalone complex. Kind of learned that from Ghost in the Shell. It's like unaffiliated or able to exist entirely without any other entities closely tied to idea of independence. So that's why it's called standalone. It's independent from other things. Like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex is not associated with other stories aligned with the Ghost in the Shell stories. It's its own thing. Mass hysteria, not relevant. Shoot, not relevant. Space advocacy. Oh yeah, and then the game went off into this ridiculous tangent of about space aliens and a shady science organization. That how the psych machine got used by Nile and also by Ibis. It's because of some shady organization that discovered this ridiculous type of mineral substance and created this psych machine from this mineral substance from space. It's possibly aligned with aliens, but it never said aliens. It just said that it came from space. And we haven't heard anything else about the shady organization, but that it was probably something that ASET, Iris, my main suspect, actually taught up in their head, and it probably doesn't exist at all. So the game starts to throw you ridiculous stuff that don't exist at all. And then there's Mafia. And then there's Osiris, once again Egyptian lore. And Delirium, we already know what that is. A consciousness which shows symptoms of illusions and hallucinations. Yes, we already know that exists. Kawasaki District. Oh yeah, and then this guy who showed up like halfway into the game was associated with something that was introduced at the beginning of the game, and there was an explosion within a certain district like years ago, 6-7 years ago, and it caused a huge infestation of radiation towards a small community in the Kawasaki District area, which allowed Bloom Park and certain housing areas to go abandoned by people. People had to leave at this power plant. It was turned out that it was sabotage, but it's unknown whether he actually caused the sabotage or someone else did it intentionally, or he knows someone was about to do it. But it's kind of obvious that he knew someone was going to do it, even though he probably wasn't involved in it, but he kind of figured someone was going to do it. Because he sold out everything and then bought it back for less than half the price. Typical shady business deals. And now it's bustling. It's not really a bustling town, but now it's a casino district. And as we know, like most things that has to do with casino and gambling are associated with criminal organizations. Anyway, that's why when people go to Atlantic City and casino halls and think like, oh man, you're just feeding these pieces of garbage, you know. But people love to gamble. Like, yeah, you keep feed them. Go ahead. And then let's see what else. Because a lot of criminal organization has, I wouldn't say they have come clean. Some of them still do the same old-fashioned stuff. But they realize nobody gives a damn about them anymore. So they have to find different ways to make money illegally without the physical, violent way of doing things. And some police officers or some organizations, or as well as some lawyers, allow these things to continue because as long as they could like hide under the radar of the law, they could allow to continue to do what they want. It's like they're not really killing anyone, but they're still doing illegal activities. That's why when you see gambling in video games, yeah, think shady organization in the background. You see gambling in football games or gambling in basketball games or gambling in anything. Think shady organization behind the backgrounds, supporting that or funding the people who are actually doing. Like if like say someone like Fortnite, the owner of Fortnite gets like a text from someone who says, I want to invest in something, but I want you to include gambling in it.
Date,
yeah.
Iris is about to wake up.
Think carefully.
Got it.
Putting me to sleep when I wasn't expecting it? You cops are more rough than I thought.
That's
You signed
why
a consent form before you came in here, didn't you?
that's why when Tencent had owned Warframe, I started to get a little worried because I started to see certain things change within the game, but I haven't seen anything related to gambling or excess spending. So I'm pretty much good with that, not assuming that shady organizations behind the scenes. But you know, you always have to look over your shoulder when it comes to those things, especially in the things that you like, because people who are criminals don't give a damn about what anyone else like. They only care about themselves.
You forced me to sign it.
Anyway, Iris, I have some things I want to ask you.
What? I'm okay. Normal, I guess. Why? Did you do something that would make me sick?
I just took a peek inside your head is all.
Inside my head? Dream? What are you talking about?
The subject of the sync does not experience somnium as you do. Iris would not know about it.
Yeah, I know his name and face. I've never met him.
You haven't?
I'm just an internet idol. It's not like I have connections to politicians or anything.
Iris, Let me ask one thing. The message Ota sent you on Nile. I won't tell anyone about that thing. What is that thing?
I don't know. Ota's the one who wrote that. You should ask him.
Aiba, Ota's phone is still broken, right? But he definitely sent that Nile message.
Ota purchased a new phone in Akihabara yesterday.
With the same number?
Yes.
Call it.
Connected.
Hey, it's Kaname Date. Where are you? Ota, I know you can hear me.
At home. I'm at home.
Got it. Wait right there. I'm coming over.
Is Tessa still at the police station?
Yes?
If you want me to talk, release her. Criminal Procedure Law number 198. Persons may refuse to heed a summons or leave the supervision of the police at any time unless they are arrested or detained. Tessa isn't a suspect. According to Article 223, this applies to all persons of interest. You haven't issued an arrest warrant for Tessa, right? So if you don't release her right now, you are violating the law.
Damn.
Do we have a deal? You want my testimony, right? Bring Tessa here, and I promise I'll tell you everything I know.
This kid is starting to get on my nerves.
So, what are you going to do?
Shit. Iris, come with me. We're going to Matsushita Diner.
Were you talking to Ota?
Yeah, telepathically. I have special powers. Anyway, let's go.
Tessa!
Thank you, Ota. It's thanks to you.
Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're actually new here, let me exactly explain who the suspect or the situation is. If you've never played this game or seen this game before. Someone, at the beginning of the game, someone was murdered inside of a park. And the person who was murdered put on top of one of the trolley horses, carousel horses, and their left eye was removed. And then at the beginning of the game, Date, the boss, and a couple of police showed up to the crime scene, found the body, found multiple stabs in the body, and found the eye missing. And then later it's discovered that a little girl was hiding inside of the carousel walls. Her name is Mizuki. She is the daughter of the person who got killed that was on that carousel. Obviously, we tried to question her, but she didn't answer because she was in a state of shock. As things progressed later on, she eventually started to talk. We had to dive into her mind to extract certain information about what happened. It was discovered that she actually pulled an ice pick out of the mom's eyes, that there was actually an ice pick lodged in her mother's eye. I guess before it was lodged out or after it was lodged out. It was still stuck in there. So whoever the killer was left the ice pick in there after they took the eye out. And then that's what we discovered, that how the killer was present there at the same scene of the crime. Because the little girl saw the killer standing within the forest area, coming towards her. She locked herself inside of the carousel to hide from the killer so that they couldn't get inside. However, she didn't see the killer's face, but it was a blue haze around the killer. Now, from then moving forward, we had certain suspects. We had Aset here and Ota, the pop idol Aset, who does online gaming and music and so on and so forth, and Ota being her crazed fan of her, that like her stuff. So they automatically became suspects number one, because one, they were too nice and they were playing it off too friendly and too easy, and everything was kind of obvious at the beginning. But sometimes people are stupid that way when they make games and they try to make the obvious be the obvious, and the obvious turn out to be the obvious killer. Like, oh yeah, everyone thinks it's obvious, so they're obviously not going to think this is the obviousness, so we're obviously going to make the obvious. So I put it that way in that little corner because it's so stupid, but might as well put it in the corner anywhere as a suspect. So then I came across Mr. Dante, who was later discovered that he was missing his left eye and stuff. I thought, well, that's no coincidence, and plus his left eye has a talking robot inside of it. That's an eye called Iba, and that talking eye was created by a guy named Pewter as part of the Ibis organization. Not suspicious whatsoever at all. At least that's what my mind was telling me until I realized, yeah, that's all 100% suspicious. So he became suspect number 2 automatically. Suspect number 3 was a woman named Hitomi later on, who was Iris's mother, right here. How she became suspect number 3? Automatically. The way the game presented her, the way the game showed her, what she was saying, how she was saying it, and the things that she was talking about associated towards events 60 years ago when the radiation or whatever happened towards the district, and how she met Shoko Nadami and Renju, and her association with Iris, and her association with the person that wasn't her husband, or wasn't the person she had relationship with to have Iris. All very suspicious. So she became suspect number 3. Then suspect number 4 automatically became Pewter, because Pewter created Iba, which is inside of Dante's eye. So Iba and Pewter were linked together in that sense, and so he became suspect number 4. Now, he was an interesting party. He wasn't a full suspect until started to reveal that certain things were happening in Somnium world to show that he was a suspect. Not to mention the fact that he created Iba, and every now and again Mr. Dante started having memory lapses, like if someone's controlling him or something. And many times started to suspect who was, he told me his true father and stuff, and who was this person related to Hitomi. So the spotlight started to shine more on Hitomi more than anyone else, even more on Aset, even though my mind told me 100% it's got to be Aset, because, you know, it's so ridiculously obvious that they wouldn't make the ridiculously obvious one the killer, but then they would. So the more obvious killer eventually came up, and his name was Renju, and say, okay, oh my god, is this game really going to throw me all these obvious people? Hitomi is obvious, you know, Aset is obvious, and now Renju is obvious. I already knew Renju wasn't the killer, because he was the one that was running from the law. So he was already crossed out in my mind. I already kind of figured Pewter wasn't the killer, because it would be too easy to present him as such, with association with Dante, to control him, because that's too easy. So, but I waited to see how those things were going to play out. So those were my 3 suspects, and then my 4th suspect, my 4th main suspect, came into play, because Renju wasn't my main suspect. He was an interesting party. So my 4th suspect came into play, and he ended up being Prisoner 89, the unknown. But then Prisoner 89 turned out to be a dud. Once it was discovered that Pewter, Renju, and Prisoner 89 had something in common. They all knew each other, and they all helped each other out. So why, when Renju died, will Prisoner 89 and Renju have anything to do with it? Especially since Pewter had this kind of love interest in Renju. So that didn't add up. So I crossed out Pewter, I crossed out Renju, and I crossed out Prisoner 89. So that only left Iba, Hitomi, and Aset being my main suspects. And then the boss came into play when it was discovered that 6 years ago she was actually part of Ibis. She wasn't someone that was a new hire to be Dante's boss. She was always present there. So she became one of the suspects, an interesting party first, and later became a suspect as the spotlight that was now very dim and transparent on her started becoming brighter. And she became replaced Pewter as the fourth suspect. So in the end, I end up with Iba, Aset, and Pewter at the beginning, and Hitomi, and eventually Pewter got crossed out, and Prisoner 89 got crossed out, which just left Hitomi, Aset, and Iba. And now Boss replaced Pewter, so now those four people are actually logged into my four boxes, or my triangle, not my triangle, my diamond-shaped box, are now Boss, Aset, Iba, and Hitomi. But things aligned with Hitomi. The spotlight started to shine brighter in Hitomi, and it started to shine even brighter on the Boss. So I automatically crossed out Aset here, and I automatically crossed out Iba, Dante. When I came to the conclusion, well, Peter is not the only person that can control Iba, the Boss can. So, and if it's what I think it is, maybe even Hitomi herself. So my main two suspects that I believe are true killers are the Boss and Hitomi. Aset here is simply the sugar-coated topping. Aset, Soul Shijima, the Yakuza, Prisoner 89, Renju, Pewter, even Ota. These are all block paths to blind your eyesight, to be blurred like snow, like you're trying to drive through snow. But I kind of knew from the very jump that it was either Hitomi or it was the Boss. If it turns out to be Aset, I'll be satisfied. If it turns out to be the Boss, I will be somewhat satisfied. If it turns out to be Hitomi, I won't be satisfied, because I knew it from the very first, or should I say the very second playthrough, it was Hitomi. I just had to wait till this game play all the stupid exposition to get there. So those are my two main killers, my Billy Loomis and my Stu Marker. Originally, Billy Loomis was Aset and Ota, but after I realized she got killed in one and the game ended, and I came to a conclusion like, what the hell is going on? This chick got killed, so then she was crossed off. So if she gets killed in one dimension or one branching timeline, then that means she can't be the killer in all of them, because she got killed and murdered off in one, which means the obvious is not her anymore. Because if it is her, then that means that there are multiple dimensions versions of her going in different worlds and killing people, which is completely ridiculous and has nothing to do with a murder mystery. Or it's some type of psychological jumping worlds type nonsense, which is not my cup of tea whatsoever. So that's why I stuck to Hitomi, and that's why I stuck to Boss. I'm not going to change my mind with Hitomi and the Boss. If it turns out to be Aset, then she was my number one suspect from the beginning. I'll be satisfied with it. But it better not be a dimension version, robotic version of her. Some craziness like freaking Godzilla or some nonsense. Because this game turns out to be that type of bizarre stuff. It's going all over the goddamn place. First it was aliens and science, evil shady organization. Then it was devil worshippers. Now it's I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just going to play. I just had to say exactly what's going on before I proceed forward, if you're new to watching this video. But my main people who I believe are the killers are the Boss and Hitomi. I just have to wait till the game gets there. Like, I figured this out even before the climax of the damn game, but I have to wait for it.
That's right. It's not like you can do whatever you want just because you're the police.
Maybe not, but you better keep your promise. So let's hear it. What is that thing?
That thing?
Don't play dumb. You sent that message to Iris.
Oh, Date, will you do me a favor?
What?
There's a picture on the counter, right?
Yeah, and?
I want you to take a good look at it.
The photo.
Yes, the photo.
Oh no, not this crap again. Okay, so this had happened before. He tasered Dante before, he fell to the ground, Dante felt, and he ended up smiling. And the game trying to play it off like he's wicked or evil or something. Well, it turns out that Ota got capped at the end and got cut in half. So the game is trying to fool you, once again.
Head's pounding.
So eventually it's basically trying to say that Ota is going to get killed again, as well as Iva. As well as Iris.
You've been unconscious for nearly 5 hours.
But on one branching path, Iris died by herself, not Ota. And then another branching path, Iris and Ota died. So this is a different branching path, see? This is a different branching path. So maybe in this branching path, Iris and Ota don't get killed. And this branching path, Iris herself got killed. So maybe in this branching path, Iris and Ota are actually killers. That's why I say this game's all over the goddamn place. It's like it's trying to play footsie with you, trying to blight your path. I mean, I hate using that word. Blind you from where you're supposed to go. And you're quite aware where you're supposed to go, but you have to wait for the game to get past all this bullshit for you to get there. I don't know. Let's continue.
Ota got me, didn't he?
He did. He struck you over the head with the walk.
Bastard. Why did he do that?
I don't know, but afterward he ran off with Iris.
How do you know?
You had lost consciousness, but I was still watching. I recorded video of the incident. Take a look.
Tessa, wait! I'll get the car.
You witch! You stay away from my boy!
Tessa! What's wrong? Did something happen?
No, everything's fine.
Okay, let's go.
Ota.
Why didn't you chase them?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is why I say it's bullshitting, going all over the place. So now it's trying to put it like Iris is the killer, like it was trying to do from the very beginning, and then it ended up killing Iris. And now it's trying to put it back like Iris is the killer again. You know, like she's the Billy Loomis and Stu, like I was saying from the beginning of the game. And now it seems like Iris has a way of hypnotizing people, or at least convincing them. Or she went over and said something to the mother and everything, and then she followed. Like it's playing this silly game of trying to mess in with your head. Oh, she has psychic powers now. Or she whispered in her ears. Or Ota's mom is actually the killer. So on and so forth. It's trying to like blind you from where you actually know you're supposed to go. Like, listen, if Iris is the actual killer, then why try to kill her at the beginning of the game and then have the credits roll? Why create that ridiculous branching timeline if she's actually a killer? Simply to mess with your head. Well, she actually turns out to be the killer. Well, you didn't mess with her head, because I already kind of knew she was the killer I was just waiting to see where the game was going with it, the damn thing. And that's when I stumbled, when I realized he killed her off. And I realized, wait, what the hell? So he killed off the person I thought was the killer. So she's not the killer. So that's what the game was trying to do. X off who you're believing is the killer by killing her off. But now it's trying to play it off like she's actually a killer again. That's why I'm not playing this game of footsie, man. My characters, my murderers are still the boss and Hitomi. Unless it turns out that the boss from Ibis had some connections with Rohan Kamakura, and they actually both knew that the actual true murderer was Hitomi and stuff. Why when she entered into that Somnium dream, we saw Rohan and the boss together, and they were both trying to stop Hitomi murdering self. And that's the only reason why the boss would be there. Otherwise, the boss is associated with Sojima, Rohan, and all types of corruption. But it's trying to play it off like, okay, they were actually in that dream to stop Hitomi because she's crazy. But then, in another section, why would the boss of the Ibis be aligned with the Kamakuras, the Yakuza and stuff? Because she's bad. So apparently everybody is basically saying everybody in the damn game is bad. No, man. There's only 2 people that are actually bad. Or 1 person. But 2 of them are my suspect. It's the boss or it's Hitomi. I'm not doing this whole Aiba, ASET, OTA nonsense, computer. I'm not letting any of this crazy nonsense block me from where I'm trying to go. If it turns out to be ASET, then I was right about her being the main person from the beginning. And obvious was the most obvious. As well as Renju was the obvious, but he was the obvious that I didn't want to be obvious. I prefer to be an obvious person I think to be the obvious rather than one that I don't want to be that's obvious. So I'll accept the game if it's actually ASET. I'll accept it. I think it's pathetic, but I'll accept it. But the one I'll be truly satisfied with as being the actually killer of the game is the boss. That's the only one I'll be 100% satisfied with. Because I can't be satisfied with Hitoma being the boss being the final psychopath, because she, just like Renju, are the bad type of obvious, not the good type of obvious. You know, the good type of obvious is ASET. The good type of obvious is the boss. The bad type is Hitomi and Renju. And what's the difference between bad type and good type? One, you don't see it coming. That's the difference. You don't see it coming. I saw Renju coming from a mile away. I saw Hitomi coming from a mile away. I didn't see the boss coming whatsoever until it was revealed 60 years ago. And I kind of saw ASET coming from a mile away. But I wanted to see how they were going to play it out. I didn't care how they were going to play it out with Hitomi and Renju, because I already knew what they were doing with Hitomi and Renju. I didn't know what they were going to do with ASET, even though I kind of saw it coming. I wanted to play their game and see where they were going to go with ASET. But it's so obvious that it's not ASET. But I wanted to play the game to see what they were going to do with regards to this character. Why are they playing with this character? That's the only reason I'm interested in ASET. I don't really give a damn about ASET in the slightest. My interest was always Hitomi and the boss, from the very beginning of the game. Even when I first met the boss, I knew she was stand out specifically because she was designed to be that way. So I wanted to know about who she was and her relevance from the beginning with regards to the game. Even though she wasn't a suspect then. But I kind of know even from back then she was. I was just waiting to see how long it would take the game to show me evidence aligned to her, as well as Hitomi.
You should have jumped out of my eye and ran after them.
I don't really care about ASET and Ota at all. If they turn out to be Billy and Stu, like Scream murderers, that's cool. But the people who I really want to be Billy and Stu is Hitomi and Boss. Those are the people who I want.
I couldn't move.
But like I said in the past video, if it turns out to be nobody who I think it is, then it has to be goddamn Kagami. It has to be Kagami. I don't want it to be anyone else other than Kagami. And Kagami, if you haven't known from the beginning of the game, is a police officer who's doing the investigation. and he's a person that Dante keeps getting the guy's name wrong, and he keeps repeating it over and over to himself. Keeps saying his name is Kagami. My name is Kagami. My name is Kagami. Are you serious? Are you this stupid? I told you my name 1,000 times. I want that guy to be the actual killer. He's the only entertainment value in the whole goddamn game. A random police officer, NPC, that has no relevance to anything.
The mechanics controlling my ambulatory motion were short-circuited by the blow to your head. Date, the boss is calling.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency. Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video. I sent the address to Iva.
Iris. No, that's...
The criminal is streaming this live.
Iva, the source.
Identified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now. Date, we've almost reached the destination.
Please, please let me make it in time. You okay?
Date.
Where did they go?
Through the back door.
Just hang on, Ota. Help is on the way.
Don't worry. Iris is alive. Backup is en route to this location. Date, pursue the culprit.
All right, I'm on it. Any traces of the culprit?
Still nothing. We also didn't catch the culprit on any of the surveillance cameras. They probably got away through the back alley.
While wearing a polar bear costume.
Maybe they took it off and threw it in the ocean.
If it were filled with something heavy, it would sink to the bottom.
You should ask Iva about that.
Yes, I have already done some research. Okiura Fishery is owned by the Okiura we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
They're giving statements at HQ right now. The line is pretty long.
You could just talk to Mizuki.
Right. She's part of the Okiura family, too. Oh, speaking of... Hey, boss. Did you end up sending anyone to take care of Mizuki yesterday?
Jeez, you're finally getting around to asking that? Yes, she's fine. I had one of our new recruits take her. She took her back to your house, so Mizuki should still be there.
So Mizuki's at home.
And I'm fairly certain she's furious with you. After leaving her alone with Mama, I mean.
It's still ongoing, but they haven't found anything of note yet. Date, Aiba, go to the warehouse again and investigate. You two might be able to find some useful clues. They were taken to Central Hospital. Ota's surgery went well. He's in treatment now. He's stable, nothing life-threatening. Iris, though.
Is she still in surgery?
Yeah.
Iris's left eye was forcibly removed. Because the optic nerve is connected to the brain, the surgery will take some time to complete.
So, Sejima? He was in Iris' Somnium yesterday.
Right. But Iris says she's never met him.
Why not ask So about it?
So lives in Azabu, right? I guess I could.
Of course. Hitomi's at the hospital, waiting for the surgery to finish.
And Mayumi?
She was at the hospital earlier, waiting for Ota to get out. I think she went back home to get some clothes and things for Ota's hospital stay.
Date, last night, Mayumi left the diner to chase after Iris and Ota. Perhaps she knows something.
Yeah, she might. Let's listen to Mayumi's story. Alright, boss. I'm going to investigate all this.
Got it. We're counting on you.
Let's go, Iva.
Roger that.
Listen, I get it. I'm really sorry, Mizuki. Yesterday, I went to meet up with the Yakuza gang. The Kumakuras. Remember Mama said Renju had some connection with them? So I went to question them. But of course, I couldn't take a little girl with me. You understand, right?
I'm not afraid of any Yakuzas. I'd make their hearts stop beating in 3 seconds.
Girls shouldn't talk like that.
That's awfully sexist of you. This is why no one thinks you're attractive.
I'm attractive.
Uh-huh, keep telling yourself that. That's why you haven't had a girlfriend in 4 years.
My girlfriend is a ninja. You know, she's just hiding in the shadows.
Sure. So what do you want to ask me anyway? Okiura Fishery is a company Grandpa made. I don't think Daddy had anything to do with it, though. Grandpa died 17 years ago. Someone else is running that company now. They aren't family. I never met him. He died before I was born. But Daddy did tell me stories.
What kind of stories?
Back when Grandpa was in Great-Grandma's tummy, she was on a passenger ship that got shipwrecked in a storm. She had to have the baby out on the ocean.
On the ocean?
Yep. And then, Grandpa was raised by dolphins.
Huh?
By the time he was 10, he was catching fish with his bare hands. And then, Grandpa got up on land and learned language and culture and stuff. And then he decided to start up Okiura Fishery.
Sounds like a tall tale.
Yeah, Grandpa was a legend. All the fishermen and sailors respected him. I saw the video. The one at 3 a.m. last night. Ota is amazing. I'm changing my mind about that guy.
Ota's out of intensive care. Iris is still... But I know she'll be okay. Iris's surgery will definitely be a success.
You stay positive, even if there's no reason to be. It's one of your good qualities, Date.
What?
I believe it. Iris is going to be just fine.
Where's the officer who dropped you off?
I told her to go home. I said I would call her to check in.
Okay.
Why are you disappointed? Did you want to meet her?
It's not like that.
You wanted to see her boobs? I thought you were more into small boobs, pervert.
I like big boobs too.
I suppose you are what they call a tit man.
Thanks for talking with me, Mizuki. It was helpful.
Was it?
I have to continue the investigation, so...
Wait, you're leaving me again? I'm coming with you.
No.
Why?
I can't involve you. This might be dangerous.
It's okay, I'm strong. You know how strong I am, right? You were the one who knew how special I was before anyone.
Yeah, this game's weird like that. You see, when they were those Yakuzas were capping rounds at her, shooting her, and she was beating them over the head with a stick. I'm starting to think those bench presses you actually do are actually real bench press weights. But this game never questioned real whether those are toy bench press weights or real bench press weights. So I'm going to start to assume that those are real bench press weights, and the game just don't want to explain why that is 100% off. Or why Date is not actually even paying attention to that whatsoever at all. Unless those are toy bench press weights, which is more logical, but not logical that a little girl can beat the hell out of a Yakuza with a metal bat and knock him out with one hit. I mean, the bench press weight will basically prove that that's true. But not questioning her why that she's able to do that is not, didn't occur to anyone. I don't know, man. The game is weirdy like that. It's all over the damn place. She doesn't know anything about Okayara fishery. She knows that grandpa was this, blah, that, and that, and that. Not relevant whatsoever at all. I only came here because I wanted to see the person who dropped her off. Why did the police dropping her off at her Date's house decide to just peace out? Did the cop even tell the boss or anyone at HQ at Ibis that he's going to leave the little girl in the house by herself? Is none of this shady, or I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, this game is like it was made without not a lot of thinking in it, or it was trying to do a lot of thinking, but they end up just giving up halfway through.
Who did this to you?
Some kids at school. 5 or 6 of them. They said I was a weirdo because I don't live with my mom and daddy. And they teased me. And I got mad and I told them to go away and they hit me.
Tell me their names. I'll teach the little punks a lesson.
Date, wait. Adult intervention will not solve this problem. Mizuki has to deal with this problem herself.
Mizuki, come on. It's time to train.
What?
I'm gonna teach you how to kick their asses. We're starting right now. Get ready.
Oh yeah, like him teaching a little girl how to be a good fighter and how to do martial arts.
The perfect
Means
place
she
for
can
special
kick
training.
grown ass of freaking adults
It
in
is?
Yakuzas.
You feel
with sticks
better
and
when
bamboo.
you train in quiet, serene
Or
places like this.
with actually
Sure,
metal
whatever.
pipes. Or teach her how to
First,
dodge freaking
I'm going
bullets
to
of people
teach you
capping
4
off
secrets
rounds.
to becoming stronger. Follow these 4 rules, and you will acquire
And
power
the game is so
beyond your
stupid
wildest
that way, man.
dreams.
Date, are you playing a character or something?
I'm not Date. While we're in training, I am Master.
No matter how good you train a child, it's still a child by the end of the day. Even reality and even in fiction, like certain things are impossible. Even in fiction, certain things are impossible. I mean, in fiction, if you want a little girl could beat the shit out of a bunch of Yakuzas, then that's the only way you could get away with it. The only way. But the logic is all over the place. It's an impossibility. There's one gun bullet from someone shooting at you. Catch you even in the arm, even if it grazes your leg. It doesn't go straight through your leg or straight through your arm. Even if it grazes you, is enough to knock you off your ass, or at least stop you, because the shock from the injury is so severe. And there's no way, no matter how much training a little girl can do, she could bench press that much weights, if that's the case. Hell, 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls probably can't even bench press 10 pounds. On both sides, I mean. Like 10 full pounds, maybe. But on both sides, no. This game is so retarded, man.
What? Why?
The best training you could ever have is to be mindful during your everyday life. Diet and exercise form a strong body. And if you are always maturing intellectually and emotionally, you will always be able to anticipate your enemy's first move.
I get it. But you're so messy. Does that mean you can't fight?
Hark, the blowing of the wind through the trees.
You can't...
Mizuki, do you know how to win any fight against... That is a respectable answer, but no.
I'm gonna skip all this BS, because none of this has anything to do with Shoko Nozami. None of it have to do with Shoko. Her being able to fight, dodge bullets, freaking do heavy bench press weights and all this, her relationship with Dante, has nothing to do with the murder of Shoko Nozami. Or Nozami, or however you want to call her name. Nothing whatsoever. This is just stuff put in as filler. This is what you call filler. Has nothing to do with... It's a personal connection with him and the girl. Such as expositionally and as well as character development, but it has nothing to do with the murder mystery whatsoever. So I'm skipping all this crap.
The way it hit them, of course. But thinking...
Yeah. Serious...
Not... Enough.
Like...
I do the... Before the men...
Yeah. Actually... Like...
None of this has to do with Shoko whatsoever.
What do you mean?
Like, listen, if you want to play this game to actually enjoy the characters and enjoy the story and character development, that's one thing. But never forget, the story is about solving who is the murderer of Shoko Nozami. The game goes all over the damn place, all the time trying to remove you from focusing on the main focus of the game, which is Shoko.
If you are going
it's
to fight,
annoying as hell.
You must... If you have... Do not think...
Just a punching bag. Huh.
Anyway.
This sounds like a scam.
Believe in me. If you...
Are you sure?
And how about...
Huh?
I can get...
If you say... I'll give it a...
First, close your eyes and concentrate.
Like this?
Exactly. Then, punch forward. Huh?
How is that?
Yeah, and there it is. That's how she's able to kick Yakuza's asses. It has nothing to do with... It has nothing to do with the girl being trained properly. It has nothing to do with years of dedication to martial arts. She's naturally talented and bizarrely, freakishly strong. For no goddamn reason other than the fact that people who made the game want her to be that way. And the only logical reason why she's that way is because they actually did something to her. But there's nothing in the game that showed from the beginning of the game that they actually did something to her. Made her freakishly strong by experimentation or anything. So now the game is going off into another tangent. We're now in another tangent. First we were Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And then we were aliens. Now we're going into superhero serum stuff. Some Steve Rogers stuff. What the hell? All I want to do is play the murder mystery game. And keep going all in various different directions. Now we have superpowered children. Great. You see how the game is putting all this crap in front of you. Trying to make you go in different directions. Not fooling me whatsoever at all. I have no interest in that. But here's the thing, it's going to connect all this crap together. It just doesn't need to, but it's going to do it. It decides to throw all this in and then connect it together. It doesn't need to do all this for the murder mystery. It just wants to. It wants to throw as many things into a pot as it possibly can to make a delicious soup. And that's what I guess the people who made the game thought that they were doing. I'm making a delicious soup, so I'm going to throw in as many different things in there to make the delicious soup. Well, you don't need even half of that stuff in order to make a delicious soup of, of broth or something, or potato soup, or pea soup. You could half all that stuff and still get good pea soup. You don't need to put the extra stuff in. You're just convoluting the game. That's what they're doing. They're convoluting the game. They're not making it good by putting ridiculous stuff in there.
Did you swing back at those bullets?
No, I didn't do anything. There were a bunch of them. I didn't think I could.
I see. She doesn't know her own strength.
I suppose not.
Mizuki, let's just say I think you should be more confident in yourself.
Really?
But never ever strike your master. That is a must. Yeah, you're right. In fact, you're so strong you scare me sometimes.
Well then?
No, I can't take you with me.
Why not?
Because I took responsibility for you. I promised Renju. I can't put you in danger.
That's not fair. Bringing up Daddy.
Iris and Ota feel the same way. They don't want you hurt either. You have to understand, Mizuki. If I need your help, I'll let you know.
Really?
Yes.
Promise?
I promise. Let's go, Lila.
Where to?
And this dude is not going to mention anything about the cop that dropped her off. Or call his boss to ask who dropped her off. I really don't understand this game, man. Like, who was this game made for? Honestly. Let's go to Soul. Let's mess with Soul for a minute. I'm gonna mess with Soul.
How did you get in?
Hopped over the fence.
That's trespassing, you know.
My baseball landed in your backyard. I was just trying to get it back.
I don't. Who is that?
This girl. Do you recall seeing her?
No, I've never seen her.
I detect no noticeable rise in So's body temperature.
This guy's a politician. Lying is his job.
So here's the thing. Because there are various branching paths, one of the branching paths had him sitting in a room, investigative room, and he was being questioned by Date in a dark room with a spotlight on him. The same picture of Iris, Aset, was shown to him. Said the same thing. He doesn't know her, never met her before. So he's admitting the same thing, but in a different fashion now. So he's gonna say the exact same thing that he did before. He's just gonna say it in standing here now. So everything that adds up to a Sosa Jima is always gonna be the same, regardless of what branching path you go. Unless the game shows something. Because the last time I was here, So was with Aset's mother. Hitomi. So even if he doesn't know Aset herself, he damn sure does know Hitomi. So maybe Hitomi never showed So her daughter. And for good reasons too. So found out that she has a daughter. Well, probably So already knows that she has a daughter, but yeah. He's lying in a way. But this fool is admitting that he's never met her before, doesn't know who she is. But we clearly have seen, or should I say I clearly have seen a video of him talking to Hitomi. So, being the corrupt person he is, he's going to want to know who Hitomi is and who she's associated with. So he knows Aset, but he likes to play this game of, I don't know this person. So he's going to say the same thing from the last time that he did now. The exact same thing. So I'm not worried about anything. I just want to see if he reveals something additional on top of his lies.
Well, true.
I told you yesterday. My relationship with them is perfectly legitimate.
Hey, Aiba. You were still in the middle of the story about So selling and buying the Kawasaki land.
Oh, we can continue that later.
What the hell? What the hell was that? What? Okay, never mind. I just found it funny that Aiba decides we're going to continue that later. Why not continue it now? Why not answer the goddamn question now? It's whatever, man. Like I'm saying, the game is trying to play mind games with you. Like, it's trying to make you go all over the place. Look, Aiba is connected to Pewter, and Pewter is connected to the boss. Anything gets too close to the boss and Hitomi, it starts to go away from them. It's try to move or distract away. But like, I'm not fooled by anything in this game, man. I just want to reach the end. That's what I want to reach. I want it to be Kagami. That's who I want it to be.
Here, sleeping, of course. Why? What happened?
Did you not see the news?
No, I've been reading a book. I don't know what happened, but whatever it was, I had nothing to do with it.
No. It's this girl. Cute? What was that?
Nothing.
You just said cute, didn't you?
I did not.
You did.
Did not.
Did?
I said shoot.
Why would you say shoot?
Look, I said I don't know her, all right? Congressman Sajima was at home all Friday and Saturday.
How about from last night until this morning?
He was in his bedroom, resting.
Can you prove that?
My word should be enough.
Iba, are there any security cameras in the mansion?
There are several. But for some reason, they are all powered off. There is no image data for the past few days.
Really? That's too suspicious to ignore.
Are you finished here?
I'm just getting started.
You won't get anything, no matter what you ask. So Sajima has nothing to do with your case.
It's my job to decide that, not yours.
Okay. I didn't want to get rough. But if I need to, I'll feed you to the koi.
I'd like to see you try.
Date, he's not all talk.
What?
Check his body.
This guy has a handgun.
It is, of course, real and loaded.
So you're carrying, huh?
What are you talking about?
Don't act dumb. I should have you arrested for firearm violation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The gun you have on you.
I don't have a gun.
I know that you do.
You got a way to prove it?
I could search you.
Oh yeah? How? You need a warrant for that.
Are you finished? If you are done here, I'd like to ask you to leave.
Date, I don't believe we can accomplish anything further here. It's better for us to return to HQ.
This is why I hate politicians.
Like, what the hell is this game anyway, man? Like, when you do bodyguard work for politicians, you're supposed to be carrying stuff on you. I mean, like, unless it's specific that you're not supposed to be carrying weapons, you're supposed to be carrying a taser or pepper spray. Depending on the circumstance, you're supposed to be carrying weapons. There are such things called firearm security. Firearm security does private detail work, and they carry firearms for specific clientele. Like, so what is this game? Is this guy not a personal bodyguard to carry a firearm? Or is he a bodyguard like for bouncer at a club or something where he's supposed to carry pepper spray? This guy is associated with freaking Yakuza and he's not going to carry a firearm. Come on, man. Sometimes I wonder about the intelligence of this game. Let's see. Move on forth. Already here. Wait. Central Hospital. Yeah, let me go check on Ota.
The nurse told me you were here.
Yes, just resting. Iris's surgery was successful. They told me she would be fine. After I heard that, a weight left my shoulders, and I just collapsed.
It seems that she passed out and was brought here.
Yeah, the nurse told me.
But I'm fine now.
Man, this is so beautiful, man. Every time I see her, I just start cracking up. It's like every time like she pops up, it's like she gives me the creeper times 1 million. And she just happens to be here. It's great. It's great. I mean, I actually wasn't expecting her to be here 100% honest. I thought I was just going to be here and it was going to be something lame. But then she's here. She actually made the game a little bit better by showing up here. Like, because I actually want it to be her. But at the same time, I don't want it to be her.
I feel much better.
It'd be so lame if that it's not her whatsoever at all. I mean, I don't want it to be her at all. I prefer her to be the innocent victim and actually to be the boss. Well, it'd be kind of lame if it was never her to begin with. Nah, I prefer it not to be her. I want it to be the boss. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'll be kind of upset if it actually turns out to be her. Even though I think it's kind of lame. I prefer it not to be her. I'd rather it be the boss. Or A-Set. Now I think about it, because it's too obvious for it to be her. That's why I find it funny that she's here. Like, it keeps throwing you the most obvious thing that you kind of know is kind of stupid. Like, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that you didn't throw this little bone to me just now. So, let's continue.
Hitomi, what were you doing around 3 a.m. today? I don't mean anything by it. I'm just doing my job.
I was sleeping at home. The police came and picked me up around 4 a.m. That's when I heard about all this.
Her testimony matches what was in the investigation material.
The cops came to pick her up around 4?
Correct.
How long does it take to get from Hitomi's house to the warehouse?
20 to 25 minutes by car.
And the polar bear ran out of the warehouse at around 3:15?
Correct.
If you're fast, you can just make it.
Do you suspect Hitomi?
Not necessarily, but...
Iris lost her left eye. They haven't found it yet. If the optic nerve and blood vessels are intact, they told me they might be able to restore it. But I'm thankful she's alive. When I was young, I lost someone very important to me. Monica Ui, my best friend. One of the only friends I had. While I was waiting for news from Iris's surgery, I started thinking about Monica. And I felt like I was going to lose my mind.
That must have been very painful.
Yes.
So I'm going to start to enjoy myself and throwing in my own personal exposition to try to enjoy the game, because I'm really not. Every time she starts to act really sympathetic and fragile, I'm probably just going to mess with her and try to enjoy this, but I really am not.
I am so thankful for Oda.
I just want to get to the end real quick.
No. Words don't even do it justice. Oda saved Iris, didn't he? I heard the police talking about it. If Oda didn't go to the warehouse that night...
She's so innocent.
Iris would be dead.
You are such an innocent person, he told me. Oh my goodness.
I really don't even know what to say. It's frustrating that there isn't a bigger word for thank you. Oda was actually one of my students. I was his teacher in elementary school. Even back then, he had such a strong sense of justice. Not that I'm one to say, but I believe he grew up to be quite an amazing young man. He risked his own life to save someone else. His mother must have raised him well.
She just comes across as so innocent. And here's the thing. You would say, oh, it's so innocent. Yep, she's the actual murderer. You know what? She really isn't. These people aren't made this game aren't smart. And if they actually make her the actual killer, I'll be like, oh my god. This was definitely disappointing. I'm hoping, why I'm still playing this is I'm hoping they meet my expectations. I mean, you can't meet everyone's expectations, but I want to see if this game is even somewhat intelligent. So far, I haven't seen the actual intelligence of this game.
So, Sejima? The politician?
Yes. We believe they might know each...
I don't think so.
Sorry for asking you so many questions at a time like this.
No, it's fine.
I should go.
And it seems like I'm playing footsie. It seems like I myself am playing footsie, but I'm not playing footsie. I already knew kind of who my killers were. Aset using Ota. He told me, and the boss. Those were my killers. Those have always been my killers. Those have always been on my radar. If it switched from one to the other, it's simply because the game is all over the damn place, messing with your head. Going over, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, killing off certain people to mess with you. Like, no, but I've always kept it on these people. It only goes from one to the other if evidence shows that it's moving towards another character and away from one. And it's always been Hitomi and the boss. And Aces has always been, I would say, like the anomaly, the Billy Loomis and Stu Marker kind of anomaly thing. That's the most obvious there. As well as Hitomi kind of being the most obvious, but in a different way. The only one I really want it to be is actually the boss himself. But in some depressing way, I know that that's not going to happen. It's going to make it Hitomi, isn't it? That'll hurt my head if it actually makes the person I don't want it to make. Like, I didn't want it to be Renju. And it would extremely hurt my head if it would turn out to be Renju. So thankfully they were able to kill him off, which is a terrible thing to say. And it would have hurt my head if it turned out to have been Pewter, but not in the hurt my head way like Renju. So thankfully it didn't turn out to be Pewter. And Prisoner 89 as well. And it will also hurt my head if it turns out to be Iris or / Dante. Because he's obviously under control of someone, so he obviously isn't the killer. So it was always Aset. It was always Hitomi, and it was always the boss. But Hitomi falls into that. She can't be the killer. She's 100% obviously the killer. I'll be surprised if they actually make her the killer. The same as it is for Aset. You say, oh, it's obviously Aset. So if they obviously make the most obvious, then she's the obvious one. The most obvious ones are the ones I don't want to be the killer. That's why I'm rooting for the boss. I've always been rooting for the boss. But it's turning out that it's either Hitomi or the boss. I'm just waiting for this goddamn game to get there. If it turns out to be Aset, I'm satisfied. If it turns out to be the boss, I'm satisfied. I don't want it to be the people I don't want it to be. But it might actually turn out to be the people I don't want it to be. I want it to be the goddamn boss. Or I want it to be Kagami. I'm rooting for the boss or Kagami.
2 cars.
These cars have been parked here since before 3:17 a.m.
1 van and 1 station wagon. Who owns the van?
The Matsushita family. It appears as though it was used for transporting ingredients and supplies.
Tessa, wait! I'll get the car.
Ota's fingerprints were found on the steering wheel and gearshift. Iris's fingerprints were found around the passenger seat. Those were the only prints recently made. This station wagon is a stolen car.
Stolen?
Last night, the owner of the vehicle reported it stolen. It was stolen at 10:33 p.m. yesterday. The theft occurred in Fuchu, Tokyo, in the parking lot of Famisto, a convenience store along Koshu Highway.
The Famisto parking lot, huh?
The car was stolen while the owner was shopping inside the store. The vehicle's engine was on. The doors might have even been unlocked, which would have made the theft easy for the culprit.
Who took the car?
Ota Matsushita.
What?
Ota got into the car and drove off. The security cameras at the convenience store caught the entire incident. Ota's fingerprints were also found on the steering wheel of that car. There is no doubt that it was Ota.
The stream of the polar bear started around 3 a.m.
Correct. About 10 minutes later, Ota appeared on screen.
Ota stole the car at 10:33 p.m. That makes 4.5 hours until he appeared on screen. Was there anything else found inside the car?
There was one thing.
What was it?
Ota's cell phone. The one he purchased 2 days ago in Akihabara. It slid under the driver's seat.
Where's the phone now?
Its data is being inspected and evaluated. I cannot find anything in the vicinity that could be a clue.
Me either. Let's check inside the warehouse.
Yeah, like
Wow,
it's just slid.
It's cold in here.
Like they just slid his cell phone underneath the seat. Like, okay, so Ota's rushing to save Iris and stuff, you know, or at least they went to the warehouse together, got into the company car or something, or should I say they got into a car, Ota stole or something, head off here, and Ota's fingerprints is inside a stolen car as well as fingerprints is inside the van. It's like, so he got here in the stolen car and then took off in the van or something, or whatever he was planning on doing. He got here and then ended up getting stabbed here, and she ended up on the table. And then someone decided to take the cell phone that he took the car in, brought it here, and then put it inside the goddamn van. Like, this is all too convenient nonsense, man.
The air conditioners have stopped. However, the insulation in the walls has
And
kept
now
the
they're
room
trying to make
temperature
it
close to what it was this morning.
And now they're trying to make it off like it's Mayumi is associated with all this. But like, this game loves to go all over the place.
I should finish this investigation.
It's like
before I freeze
it's
to
like
death.
it knows that it doesn't have anything. Like, it knows it doesn't have enough content. It's like the game knows it does not have enough content, so it keeps extending and dragging things out because it knows that the game itself is not long. It drags stuff out. So what it does is basically take the script written for the game and extend the content of the script and add different variations onto it to make the game longer than it is, and keep using the same scenes over and over again, or place things differently to make the game seem that the game's longer than it is, but it's not.
Well then, you had better get started.
Hey man, Kagami, how you doing? What's good?
No, nothing so far.
Hey, how's your wife, Kagami? Do you even have a wife? I'm more interested in you, Kagami. What's your name? Let's play this game again.
Good one, Date.
Have I asked you before?
Yeah.
Wait, give me a second. It's coming back to me. It has something to do with glass?
Where are you getting this from? I have a pretty unique name.
Oh, great. This is so weird because they know they're both messing with each other. And it's like here's the weird, this is why I like Kagami and Date together, or at least I like Kagami. Kagami knows that he's messing with him. Kagami knows that the little conversation is going back and forth. So they're going to end up ranting and getting angry at each other on purpose. And the game is putting it off as very sincere, that they truly are upset with each other, but they truly aren't upset with each other in the slightest. But it's 100% trying to fool you that they are. Like, what the hell does this have to do with Shoko Nadami's? That's why I'm saying I prefer Kagami. The murderer doesn't exist. You know what exists? Kagami exists. Let's go.
Do you remember now?
Yeah, I think I've got it. It was 3 syllables. Something like...
It's amazing how they...
6 letters long.
He's doing this dumb thing.
All that, but not my name?
You see, and it's coming across as genuine that he's messing with him. And Kagami's coming off genuine that Kagami is like truly 100% getting upset that he doesn't know. They're actually literally playing a game with each other right now. No, I'm not going to indulge the game. Or maybe I should. It's not relevant to Shoko, but at least it's more interesting.
You still don't know?
No, not yet, but I've almost got it. 3 syllables, 6 letters.
I think the people who they're working with,
Kodaka.
the other officers
Right?
and the other people around them,
Not
think that
even
they're
close.
probably both weirdos. I guarantee this officer right over here probably think that these two guys are a bunch of weirdos. I think Kagami and Date are weirdos.
Do you want me to just tell you?
No, give me a hint.
It starts with Ka.
Starts with Ka, 3 syllables, 6 letters.
And they're generally
Making it sound
100%.
like a riddle.
They're generally 100% serious about their
Kanaiza?
not knowing their name.
Yeah, sure, man. That's my name.
See, it's like they're 100% serious about the whole situation of not knowing the name, and they're fully aware that they're messing around. It's so weird. And what does any of this have to do with Shogo? For crying out loud, that's why I'm saying this game is all over the goddamn place. Alright, let's go back to the story. I know what this is.
Yeah, wish it were under better circumstances. Too bad you're not a girl. This could be the start of something.
Huh. Yeah, thinking the same thing.
You know what, let's finish the Kagami thing. I'll just finish it off. I'll finish it off. Just for kicks and giggles. So now the game is saying that his name is actually Kanaza. It was never Kagami. So there we are. We're now on a new name. Apparently we're on a new name now. For all I know, his name could have been Kanaza the whole time, and the whole Kagami thing was BS, and his real name is Kanaza. But it doesn't even matter because it has no relevance to what Shoko Nagami, Nazami, or whatever her name is. So I'll still call him Kagami if his name is actually Kanaza, because I don't really care.
No, unfortunately.
They love to play this game with each other, so I'll just let them play the game.
Chance to meet new people.
At least it's more interesting
Once
than
this
the
case
actual
is wrapped
story.
up, how about you and I go to a cabaret club together?
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually go to
Hey, now
cabaret
you're
club
talking.
together.
You're buying, right?
Sure, I'll expense it.
I recorded that conversation. I will be sending it to the boss later.
On second thought, why don't we split it?
Aw, lame.
I want Kagami to be the murderer. I want Kagami to be the murderer, Kanasa, or whatever you want to call him. Because at this point, I want him. At this point, I'm starting to feel like he's Billy and Date is Stu. That they're the both murderers. At this point in the game, I'm like, I gotten to this point that I don't care anymore. I actually want them to be both. You know what? How beautiful this game would be if it actually turns out that they're both psycho killers. Both him and Kagami. Now, that's something I didn't see coming. That would be great. But the game is not going to do that. It's not going to do that. At the beginning of the game, the whole him playing, my name is Kagami. Are you serious? You forget my game? The whole time at the beginning of the game, these two psychopaths was right in front of your eyes. I don't know. But the game is not going to do that. No, it's not that creative. So let's continue the story, might as well.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it.
Yeah, some engineer from NRIPS created a jacket lined with heating wires. That keeps me warm. Nice, right? All the cops and inspectors around here are wearing them. I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.